ready to go. You ready for the game tonight?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Something you'll probably never cover: the Dolphins in a conference finals.
Sorry, say again. I lost you for a second.
I said something you'll never cover is the Dolphins in a conference finals. I'm just wondering, did you ask your editor, hey, please, can I have the experience since I'll never have it? And with my beat, can send me on this one or something. Did you ask for that or something? I don't know.
Yeah, we do have our Miami Hurricanes writer, Adam Lichtenstein, covering the playoff run. Last year, I did get involved in the Stanley Cup final home games. So I did get to cover game 3 times at home. Yeah, 3 of the 4 at home I covered, including Game 7. So the clincher was there for it, witnessed South Florida sports history. So hopefully, if they get to the Stanley Cup final again, then we send extra. We go all out and send our sports section out there. So hopefully get to see that.
What kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is that, bro? What the hell is if? When?
You're right.
When? When? Okay. When? Just like we can be negative about some teams, we can be positive about some teams too. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel great about them. I think they'll win, actually. I think they have more firepower than Carolina. It won't be easy because Carolina's tough defensively, and they're a physical bunch just like we are. But I think that the Panthers outlast them because they have more firepower than Carolina. So I love our chances, actually, to win this series. So that should be fun.
Built for the postseason, and what an addition Marchand has been.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let me ask you this question because just kind of came up when I'm talking about it, when I see this. And Fred Warner just signed a contract extension, 3 years, $63 million, 56 guaranteed. So he signed through 2029. So let me ask you something. When was the last time the Dolphins had their own great linebacker that they created?
Well, considering that just this year, as Jordan Brooks was putting up these big tackle numbers, the linebacker that I had to compare him to as far as it was the most tackles since, it was Zach Thomas. So we're talking 20 years now, just about a little bit under that mark, where you haven't had a linebacker of that caliber. I know they've tried with like a Carlos Dansby or a Daniel Ellerbe, but
it's not a draft pick.
Right, not a draft pick. Right,
player. That's not like getting John Offerdahl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even Jordan Brooks is a free agent.
Yeah, even Bonacani was not a young player, but he was an expansion guy. So then you got him, overall, and he wasn't an old player at that moment, and he led your defense, obviously. So it's the history of the Dolphins. When that defense is great, it's when they produce one of their own. And they have a guy that, can really lead their team and you can build around. And it's interesting that since Zach Thomas, the Dolphins have not been able, while they can't find a quarterback, they actually can't find the quarterback of the defense, the middle linebacker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully Jordan Brooks is that guy who was a free agent pickup, but and also it's so different now with how teams prioritize. They want the pass rushers first. They want the corners first. They view those as the premium positions. And now middle linebacker, right? Not like like I grew up on the late 90s, early 2000s where middle linebacker was everything. If you had your Ray Lewis in the middle, Brian Urlacher, Zach Thomas in the middle, then, that's when you were set. You established that. That was your foundation, and you built around him. Where now I think it's the edge players and then and the edge of the secondary, the corners, where you're looking with the game played on the outside so much, both in the trenches and when it comes to receiver cornerback matchups.
Although Fred Warner is viewed as one of the more important guys on that defense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And by the way, they've been on a roll with linebackers over the years too, before Fred Warner. So I'm just saying it just like you start looking around the league, and I think you can find some guys. What's the name of the guy for the Jets? Mosley.
Mm-hmm. CJ Mosley.
He's a badass. He's a
Yeah.
badass. I think if Steelers, is it Patrick Quinn now, their middle linebacker?
Right. Ravens had him out of the draft.
Right. So you have guys in the league, and when you see those guys, their defenses usually are pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of interesting that Miami hasn't been able to really fill that spot with somebody that is super special, that historically becomes one of those guys in your team, because he'll be here for 7, 10, 12 years and make that mark. And we haven't seen them, draft and develop that kind of guy.
Yeah, not draft and develop. But again, I really do like Jordan Brooks. So I think they got a guy right now to be that guy who's in his prime, and puts up immense tackle numbers, and can be versatile with everything he does.
Bobby Wagner type. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just
Bobby Wagner's another one.
nice that every year you come back to your team and then there's that guy in the middle. I get it. The pass rusher, the shutdown corner is godly important. I totally understand that. But that middle linebacker to me is kind of really the heart and soul of that defense overall, because he's the guy making all the calls. You know what I'm saying? And he does a lot of the grunt work you just mentioned, because usually they're tackling 130, 150, 170 times a year. So they're one of the reasons why your defense is so damn consistent, because the guy can run sideline to sidelines.
But you're right about the 49ers, because not only Fred Warner now, but Patrick Willis before that. They had Navarro Bowman with him. And then alongside Fred Warner was Dre Greenlaw as well. So, yeah, I mean, and they have been a solid, consistent defense for, maybe there was like a brief period in between those two linebacker cores. But from that group, from the Patrick Willis guys to then you've seen that's a consistent defense that has produced over a long period of time.
You get a Roquan Smith and you put him in your defense, and you know what I'm saying? It's just, it would be nice to see that again with the Miami Dolphins, that they get a young guy that just grows up and leads your team. It just settles everything when you have that when you have, they've been dying to find the quarterback of the offense. That's your quarterback of your defense, dude. And by the way, I like what is it, Tyrell Dodson kid, right? Is that the kid from last year?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a steal of a pickup off the street. Hopefully
Right.
he backs up this season with what he did last year, okay? Because now they'll have tape and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. I like Dodson. I like Brooks. The Dolphins do have some decent linebackers right now. I will say that. They're not weak at that position anymore.
Yep. And then I think to the Eagles getting Jahad Campbell in the draft, who was the premier middle linebacker. And it's like, man, the whole league messed up letting him go to the Eagles at the end of the first round. Like now Vic Fangio gets this guy too, and the Eagles are just always drafting these top-notch defenders every draft. But yeah, so but that's also a testament to how it's maybe been devalued a little bit. Like Jahad Campbell, if he's in the draft in 20 years ago, then that guy is like a surefire top 10 pick. A team can't miss him as a middle linebacker. But then now it's like everyone's trying to look at all those other premium positions, as they call them, and then leave a linebacker sort of to by the wayside.
Yep. Michelle Kaufman had an interesting article talking about how let me read you the headline in the Miami Herald. I know it's the competitor paper, but it's
all good. And Michelle Kaufman was a teacher of mine at the university.
We're all friends. We're all friends and support everybody. Inter Miami slumping despite messy star-studded roster. What's going on, right? And interesting that Inter Miami struggles, the Miami Dolphins struggle, and the Miami Heat struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have a common denominator. They are allowing the inmates to run the asylum.
Mm.
And they're all getting the same results. Messi has his own coach, his own GM, his own own players, friends of his. It's not working out. League's kind of figuring him out right now. And then what are they doing? They're re-signing these guys. They just gave Alba a contract extension to 2027. You look at the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler comes in and does shit that LeBron never did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I was going to bring up too.
Right. Exactly. And then you look at the Miami Dolphins. You give in to pressure because, okay, we have to re-sign. We have to sign Waddle. There were a couple of signings that you had to make. But then all of a sudden, Jalen Ramsey says, I want money. Why? You don't need to give him extra money right now. Tyreek, you didn't need to guarantee the money right now. Mike McDaniel, you didn't need to give him an extension right now. I mean, there are several things. And because you gave in to the players, look at Ramsey. Not only does he want his money, now he wants to eat his cake too because he wants out. So he got his money and he's getting out. He's not even grateful that he got his money.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how when the inmates run the asylum, look at the results of what's going on with those 3 franchises in town. Here, the inmates don't run the asylum. Here, they take less money because they want to play with each other, and Bennett will take less because Verhage will take less because Barkov will take less because everybody wants to play with each other. I'm talking about hockey. And so Marchand would be the challenge in the offseason, correct? Now, well, Marchand probably will say, I could go somewhere else, but man, if I stay here for a little less, I stay with these guys, and this is my kind of hockey. You know what I'm saying? You create an atmosphere where people are sacrificing and want to be there and want to play with each other. Whereas in all the other places, they're playing for the love of the money, not for the love of playing for each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting how we have 3 franchises that maybe have lost their way and don't really understand that they need to be more in control. You can speak on the Miami Dolphins part.
Yeah, and I was going to mention briefly with that Miami Heat. I mentioned how even when the Big 3 was together, Pat Riley still had a structure there. Like LeBron didn't get everything he wanted. There was a structure that he had to abide by. This is LeBron James, who was a 2-time defending MVP before that 2010 season when he came over, won another couple more MVPs here, won a couple finals MVPs, but he had that structure. And I believe he also took that with him once he went back to Cleveland, and then also with the Lakers, who obviously have their own long-standing structure and history with them as well. But I think he really learned that, how he called it like a college experience, learning how to win here with the Heat culture. But you're right. I mean, I've said it since back at the start of the offseason, once it was how Tyreek Hill was saying he wanted out, and there was that whole drama before it settled, even though we knew they could never really trade him. And we thought the same with Jalen Ramsey, but now as we approach, we're very much getting closer to June 1st, and that salary cap hit can be lessened post June 1 with a trade for Jalen Ramsey. Then that really facilitates being able to get that done. So it was you gave everyone money. You had to do the Waddle extension. We know that. Tua, if he's your quarterback, then you had to pay him big quarterback money. We understand that. And that's why they're trying to keep their outs now after he got hurt his first year after signing that extension. But then Jalen Ramsey on top of that, Tyreek Hill going into the season because he saw other people were getting money and he wanted his guarantees added to his contract, and Mike McDaniel right before the season as well. And then since then, all 5 of those have either let you down or said they wanted out. In Tyreek Hill's case, both. Jalen Waddle had his worst season. Tua got hurt and missed 6 games. Mike McDaniel's third season at the helm was underwhelming to say the least. And Jalen Ramsey, he did not underperform on the field, but now he qualifies under the wanted out part, where now he's looking for a trade. So really, all those big moves you made, they've come back to bite you. So it's the appeasement, trying to make everyone happy. It did not work
No.
this past cycle for the Dolphins.
Yeah. No, it's that's been the bad part. All right, anything on the cornerback front, dude?
On the quarterback front, as far as
Cornerback signing
corners,
for
yeah,
somebody because they need some depth there. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what they have at all.
Yeah, it's still sort of waiting in the wings. I mean, maybe whoever they do bring in, it's just like won't bring them in for the OTAs in minicamp because now we're already about to get into OTAs portion, and we saw that like with Calais Campbell last year because he was a 38-year-old or about to turn 38 years old back then, veteran, and yeah, he doesn't need a mini camp now. Whoever it is, you would want to see them get into the building, but considering that Asante Samuel Jr. had a neck surgery in April that was reported on, and he's one of the guys, also a South Florida kid from St. Thomas Aquinas, he's one of the ones in the mix, then possibly waiting to see how he comes away from that surgery a little bit, how he's healing. This is just speculation here as to why it's taking so long, but also could be intertwined with the Jalen Ramsey trade if now to the point where post June 1 is obviously a much better way to go about that. Then you get that money and then can invest it into the free agent corner that you signed. But yeah, I mean, still those same names are still out there. It's not like they have gone and signed elsewhere. So you still have your Rasul Douglas, you still have your Stephon Gilmore out there. I know I'm missing someone. I mean, Jair Alexander is a possibility. So still a lot of those same guys still there, and Asante Samuel has kind of been like the guy that I've looked at the most as a South Florida kid, and still only 4 years into the league, but obviously that neck issue is concerning.
All right. What are you working on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna have a big day of having assistant coach interviews. So look forward to hearing from the new assistant coaches the Dolphins have, like the new special teams coordinator Craig Ackerman, like Bobby Slowick, who is coming and joining the offensive side of the staff. So and just hear from everyone else. It's going to be kind of hectic, just trying to get to from coach to coach when a lot of them are going to be around in that setting at the same time. So just trying to hear from as many of those voices as possible, and I'll have some stories on that.
Folks, don't forget you can call our friends at Welt and Rheaume if you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. They've helped so many of our listeners now over the last 5 years since they've been on the platform, helped ourselves too when Progressive wasn't living up to their responsibilities. They crushed them. So make sure you call Jeff Welt or Daniel Rheaume. The consultation is completely free. 954 966 4646. That's 954 966 4646. All right, David, one more thing before I let you go. The NFL is about to approve the flag football. I completely disagree with this. Players can't even stay on the field. Tyreek Hill gets tired in the middle of a game and can't keep running routes for you. I've never heard of that. You have an entire offseason. You play once a week. You don't have time to get tired in an NFL game. You don't do it enough. Plus, I go back and think about Robert Edwards chewing up his knee in a beach football game in the Pro Bowl. So, and Robert Edwards came back, but he was never the same again after that. To me, you're risking injury for no benefit for your league whatsoever. You're the NFL. You don't need to promote your league, dude. Your players cost so much money that I don't know where this makes sense for them to play a silly flag football game in the Olympics. And please give me a break about competing for my country and all that bullshit. We're talking about flag football, dude. We're now adding all kinds of ridiculous sports. All right. I'm not impressed, dude. Go throw a javelin, go run track, go, do real Olympic sports. Flag football is not an Olympic sport, dude. This is just some bullshit that we're adding for more television coverage, for more eyes to because we love football and we want to add it to the element of the Olympics and all that bullshit. But if I'm the NFL, college maybe, let college players do that. That's fine. But if I'm the NFL, there is no way in hell I want any of my players that I'm paying millions of dollars to be anywhere around that silly game. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll give you this. This is probably what's in the back of Roger Goodell's mind is the 1992 Dream Team and the NBA and how much the NBA has taken off globally, internationally since then. Because while yes, the NFL is king in America, and you say you don't need to promote it any further, it's already as established as it can be in America. The NFL is still look at what they're trying to do with all these international games, adding new countries that the NFL visits. It first started with London, and then they get some Germany games, and Brazil, and now Spain, where the Dolphins will be going.
I'm sorry. Are they struggling to sell tickets to those events?
No, but I mean, this is how you grow the game internationally on a global level. So I mean, in all those countries.
Why the hell do they need the Olympics? They don't need the Olympics.
Well,
you
the
don't
Olympics will help. That platform helps a lot to grow internationally.
That doesn't make any sense to me to put players at risk for this.
Now, I also do understand they have limitations on how many players from one NFL roster can join the Olympic team per country, which obviously most of the players would be representing the United States. So that obviously creates some limits in itself. And I mean, yeah, the Olympics take place at it's kind of like the very start of training camp. So yeah, it would be detrimental to a roster if you lost a player, competing in the Olympics in flag football. But let's also consider that a lot of OTAs and mini camp and off-season workouts, that's what they're doing. They're running routes on air. It's a flag football type of 7-on-7 in practice. So it's not like they're banging with the pads and tackling to the ground a lot. So it's kind of like what they're already doing, but you add some competition. You put it on the Olympic platform.
Was Jalen Phillips tackling anybody to the ground?
Was Jalen Phillips tackling anyone to the ground? You're saying what? Last year when he came back from
when he got injured? Huh? When he got injured, was he tackling? Was it out in the open field that he just blew in?
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Non-contact. I think he got tackled. I think he got tackled by friendly fire.
and I Chubb, was that also wasn't contact either, right?
Chubb. Well, wait, hold on, because now I'm struggling to remember the play. No, it was non-contact. It was non-contact, right? Yeah.
And let me tell you, when Cam Wake injured it wasn't real tough contact. He just came off the thing and he tore it, and then he started hopping towards the quarterback. Cam Wake didn't even stop the rush after he blew out his Achilles. And it really wasn't a lot of contact. I'm just saying, dude, this happens all the time without any contact. You're not tackling anybody. You're cutting. You're making moves. And ligaments just give. It happens a lot. So.
Yeah. But, I mean, just the same way it could happen in training camp. Jalen Ramsey hurt his knee early that training camp.
This is not your job. It's not. You're not paying that player to play flag football and win a medal. You're not. You're putting more mileage on him. You're putting more wear and tear on him, and you're putting him at risk is what you're doing at that moment. That's all you're doing. You're possibly hurting your team. You're not helping in any way at all.
But I'm okay with all these different rosters putting one player out there to represent the United States and in a form of football that the whole world can play, and it's not the pads and tackling of the NFL. Yeah, and I mean injuries can happen with anything. They can happen with your off-season workouts. So you're always going to be at risk to get injured. So, but here you're just getting your workouts in with a little extra competition on the global stage. I'm for it.
I just hope we send a practice squad player.
Yeah. Or I mean, there was that quarterback that was talking about that in flag football he'd be better than Patrick Mahomes. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or that kid that Tyreek wants to race, that influencer. What's his name? Or they already raced or whatever. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I
forget.
Yeah, right. It's with an I. Yes, exactly. He's very popular. All right, follow him on Twitter because he's also popular. He is David _ there on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you. Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646.